Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A all about dropshipping on different platforms like eBay and Facebook Marketplace. And we also talk, what is going on here? Also talk on this channel about other ways to make money online like cryptocurrencies and NFTs. If you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them in the live chat. Start saying hi, and I'm going to fix this mic because it is about to fall. All right, I think that's better. So sorry about that. Slight delay. All right, so what this hour is, or hour or so, is we're just gonna hang out. This is your chance to ask me any questions you guys have about the different ways that I talk about making money online here on this YouTube channel. I have a bunch of courses about eBay dropshipping, course about Facebook Marketplace dropshipping. Well, that's really it. I wouldn't call it a bunch of courses. Those are all linked up in the description. And those are pretty comprehensive courses, but I know a lot of you guys still have questions. I know not all of you are in the courses. That's totally cool. And so I use this hour to kind of answer whatever questions I can for you about primarily dropshipping, but again, we talk about other ways to make money online as well. So join us. We do this every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So come in, ask your question in the live chat, and I'll just do my best to answer those questions for you guys. So first question up, we have Dalcata says, how to start dropshipping step by step. Wow, so that is a huge question because there are many steps involved. Now, one of the cool things about dropshipping is I don't really necessarily consider it to be very difficult to start dropshipping. I think it's one of the simplest ways to start making money online. But there are a lot of steps involved, and it's one of those, I think just like any business, where if you don't know what the pitfalls are, if you don't know what the snakes in the grass or where they are, you can easily get tripped up and everything kind of falls apart and doesn't work. But if you know what you're doing, if you have a plan, a step-by-step sort of system, it is a lot easier to get going with it. But the concept of it is pretty straightforward and simple, right? What you are doing, let's take Facebook Marketplace, for example, because it's a very, very simple example. You're going to create products that you're going to sell you're going to put up listings for sale, rather, on Facebook Marketplace. Now, the cool thing is that you don't have to create a website to do this. You don't have to sign up for something special with Facebook. As long as you have a Facebook account, you have access to Facebook Marketplace. Then you can just go on, anyone can start creating listings, anyone can start buying on Facebook Marketplace directly from their Facebook account. So it's not like you have to set up anything separate or pay money to build a website or anything like that. You already have the place where you can sell your items, and there are a ton of customers there. So many people shopping on Facebook Marketplace, and they'll buy items from you. So you have the marketplace, now you need the items you're going to sell. Well, for Facebook Marketplace, we're literally just using other retail websites. So a very popular one right now is Walmart.com. I also use HomeDepot.com. So basically, you find items on Walmart, you do some product research, you find good items, and you just copy everything from Walmart and paste it into a new listing on Facebook Marketplace. That is it. You don't have to take the images yourself. You don't have to write the description yourself. You just literally copy and paste, and you have a listing on Facebook Marketplace. Then once that listing is live, people can purchase it from you. The money will go into Facebook. Facebook will hold it for a little bit before sending it to your bank account. As soon as that happens, as soon as the sale happens, you then go buy the item from Walmart, and Walmart will ask you, hey, where do you want to ship this item? You don't enter your address for that. You enter in the buyer on Facebook, their address, enter in that, give them your credit card information, and then Walmart will ship the item directly to your customer. So you don't have to hold the inventory. You don't need to buy it up front. You don't need to warehouse that inventory. It's very, very hands-off business and very scalable from anywhere in the world. I started this business while traveling full-time. I didn't have any place to store inventory. All I had was a laptop and an internet connection, and I was able to make it work. So that is kind of the step-by-step, kind of like in a nutshell version of how dropshipping works. Obviously, again, there's a lot more steps involved. and you have to make sure you follow those steps so that you don't kind of screw up anything. All right. Angel says, popular items this time of year to dropship. That's a good question. So every single month, usually I release a video here on YouTube talking about this exact thing. So in January, I released a video saying, what are the most popular items to dropship in January? That's a lot different than June, for instance. So I've been doing this for months now. This is actually the first month, March, where I'm not going to do it. And that's because I have a very similar, I'm basically making that video, but it's just a slightly different video. And that will be coming out Sunday. So stay tuned for that. But you always want to just look at the month ahead and see what's happening that month, whether there's any holidays, any sort of season changes, anything like that that would signify new buying or new selling opportunities or new things that people would start buying up. So for instance, going into Christmas, you want to start selling Christmas decorations and Christmas trees. In October, it's Halloween stuff, right? Going into April, you want to start listing up summer items, patio furniture, things like that. So you just want to be looking ahead. March is actually one of those weird months where it's like nothing too much is happening. It's kind of like the winter is starting to end. We're starting to get into spring, but it's not quite there yet. People aren't quite ready to buy spring items yet. So you're kind of in this gray area. Sanjana says, hey, Paul, in your eBay course, are you teaching us how to build a 6-figure income store? So what I do in my eBay dropshipping course, and eBay dropshipping is similar to Facebook Marketplace dropshipping, but there are some big differences to it. So in that course, I show you exactly what I did to build a 6-figure income store. So you'll be able to watch over my shoulder as I show you how that was all set up, how that was run, and step by step, click by click, follow exactly what I'm doing kind of model. All right. George says, I sold a product on eBay more than 10 times, but that product is out of stock for a long time. Can I revisit that listing and change photos and description for a different product? Oh, that's a really good question, George. So basically what George is saying is he's selling this product that's done really, really well, but now it's out of stock and it's been out of stock for a long time. He doesn't want that listing to go to waste, because one thing you'll find on eBay is that if you're selling a product, let's say it's this chapstick, if it sells once and then it sells again, if it sells a bunch of times, there's a really good chance it's going to keep selling. There are a few reasons for that. One, that listing will have more sales, so buyers can see, oh, that product has sold 90 times. And if I'm looking at 2 listings and they are exactly the same, but one has never sold and one has sold 90 times, I'm more likely to buy the one that sold 90 times. That's consumer confidence. Also, it helps, eBay in general will just keep resurfacing that item if they see people are actually buying it and are interested in it. So that's part of the algorithm as well, as in addition to possible reviews for that product. So all that stuff helps. And so that's why if you have a good listing, you don't want it to go to waste. You don't have to delete that listing. But if the item is permanently out of stock, you're kind of stuck. So what George wants to do is he wants to know, can he just change the listing? So it was originally for chapstick. Can he change it now and change the photos and description and now sell a pen? That way it will still have the same, number of sales, and eBay will still surface it as part of their algorithm. Technically, George, that is not allowed by eBay, not at all. I always try to stay away from things that eBay doesn't allow, try to play it safe with those things, but I do know people do that. I know a lot of people that do that on Amazon as well. So that's up to you. If I was going to do it, I would choose a substantially similar product. So maybe another kind of chapstick, maybe a different not flavor or whatever, different smelling chapstick, right? So it's just a little bit different, so it doesn't maybe raise so many red flags, but that's what I would try if I was going to do anything. How long does it take for eBay to pay me right away instead of having to wait 2 weeks? So Luca, eBay is always going to hold your funds. There's no way around that. They have to. So when you get a sale on eBay, they will hold your funds. It'll take time to process, and then they'll send it out to you. So that's just the way it is on eBay. And that varies for everyone, depending on how long you've been selling, your bank account, whether you've run into any issues with eBay, you're in trouble with them, they'll hold it longer. So all those things kind of matter. Carlos wants to know if it's important to always include the brand name on the listing title. So when you're creating titles for dropshipping, I always recommend that you change the title that is given. So the supplier is going to give you a stock title, and I always think those are pretty terrible. And my recommendation is to change them. Delete words that basically you want the title to be full of words that people are going to be searching for. So if there's something in the title that they're not going to be searching for, you want to delete those words and then fill up the title with words that people are going to search for. Now, a brand name is a little bit tricky because there are some brands that people will search for. And if they search for that and your title doesn't include that brand, that could hurt your listing. So you have to really determine the value of that brand, whether that's a popular and searchable brand that people are actually going to search for. If it is, then leave it in. If it's not, then delete it. A lot of times you won't know, and you'll just learn that more with experience. But if you want a general rule of thumb, just delete it. Usually most brands that you're going to be drop shipping aren't brands that people are going to be searching for. And I think it's better to have in the title real keywords that people are going to be searching for as opposed to actual brands. Mohammed wants to know what to do with items that are out of stock when using Facebook shops. So I didn't really talk about shops, but that is on my face. So shops is very similar to Facebook Marketplace. And basically what it is instead of selling directly on Facebook Marketplace, you're actually selling through a Facebook page, basically. So you'll set up a page, you'll create a shop within that page, and then the shop, any items you add to it will be pushed to Facebook Marketplace. So your items are ending up in the same place on Facebook Marketplace, but with Facebook Shops, there's an extra step of first adding it into a shop, which will then push it to Facebook Marketplace. But that system is actually more streamlined, believe it or not, because there's a lot of software that works seamlessly with Facebook Shops that doesn't quite work as well directly with Facebook Marketplace. So the automation for Facebook Shops is much more robust. And with Facebook Shops, we're just seeing in general that when you start using it, you see a lot more sales come in than you would if you just sell directly to Facebook Marketplace. So Facebook Shops, if you set it up and run it the right way, it's definitely the better route. Now, your supplier for both of them are going to be the same suppliers. So this will actually apply to anyone who's selling on Facebook Shops or Facebook Marketplace. The question is, what do you do if an item is out of stock? So an order comes in, whether it's on Shops or straight to Facebook Marketplace, and let's say it's an item that you normally source from Walmart. But when you go to fulfill that order, it's out of stock. Now, why did that happen? Well, it could happen for a few reasons. One is either the software that you were using to automate that didn't work correctly. That's always possible. But more likely what happened was that the order came in, let's say it came in at 2 p.m., and then you didn't fulfill that order until 11 p.m. In that meantime, the item on Walmart went out of stock. So that's a possibility. So what do you do? Well, normally what I do is I'll first see if I can find it on another website. Maybe it's available on Home Depot or Amazon or something like that. Then, if that doesn't work, I will contact Walmart and say, hey, when will this come back into stock? So that's where you should start. There are a few other kind of tricks. You can offer them, the buyer, a similar product, but that's where I would start with it. Edward says, I don't see much on how to deal with returns. Am I missing that portion of drop shipping in the various videos? No, returns are definitely a reality when it comes to drop shipping. Now, if you're selling on eBay, if you're selling on Amazon, you have to accept returns. Facebook Marketplace actually does not allow returns as of right now. So if you sell an item on Facebook Marketplace, the customer can't return it just because they don't like it. They can always return it if it's broken or something's wrong with it, but for just buyer's remorse, it's not allowed. But returns are actually very, very simple, which is probably why you don't hear people talking about them. Look, if you bought the item from Walmart and that's who fulfilled the order and shipped it to your customer, and you want to return it, or rather your customer wants to return it, all you're going to do is contact Walmart. You can do that through email, you can do it through chat, or call them and say, hey, this item, order number, blah, 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 I want to return it. Walmart will then email you a prepaid return label. You put that on your computer, then you send a message to the customer on eBay, Facebook, wherever, and say, hey, use this return label to return the item. They will then ship it to the supplier. The supplier refunds you, you refund the customer, and that's it. So it's a very, very simple process. Again, you don't need to even touch the return. It's all done online. All you need is a laptop and an internet connection. You don't need a warehouse. You don't need a receiving bay to get them back. None of that stuff. Doris said, I just realized that Facebook never paid me for some of the orders from 2021. Where can I ask for my money? Very difficult to get in contact with anyone on Facebook. Yeah, it can be pretty difficult. I would try reaching out to them in the Facebook Marketplace group. There's actually a group on Facebook for that. And I would try that. But what a lot of people found was that they weren't getting paid out correctly for some months in 2021, and then it caught up earlier this year, and it's just not very clear that happened. So I would look to see if maybe you got caught up earlier this year, because that might be what happened. So Sokar says, hey Paul, I have a current subscription to autods. How can I change to the manual way that you updated in the eBay course? So for those of you inside my eBay course who don't know about the update yet, about, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I updated the eBay course. I like to do it at least once a year, if not twice a year. Some of the updates are major. Some of them are just minor updates. Some of them are just like cosmetic, so to speak, where I just make the videos look nicer, whatever it is. I like to keep the courses as up to date as I can. So I just made a pretty major update to the eBay course last month. So if you haven't seen those yet, make sure to check those out. And we changed the way that we do repricing and the software that we use, basically. Still using autods. So Link's a great software, but we made some changes to that. So if that's the case, the best thing for you to do to switch over to that new method is ask autods for a CSV file of all of your items, and tell them that you are just starting a new autods account for organization reasons. So you need that new account, and you need the CSV file to upload it to your new account. So tell them that. But if the old way of using autods works for you, just keep doing it, okay? I made this change because a lot of new people, one of the reasons, because a lot of new people were struggling with some things with autods, and then also it's what I started to do. But I even say in the course, like, if it works for you, just keep doing what you're doing. All right, my eBay account got suspended. How can I get it back? That really depends on the reason for the suspension. Suspensions are pretty rare on eBay, and when they do happen, they're usually temporary suspensions. Usually what eBay wants is some sort of information from you. Usually it's verification of who you are. They want to identify you. eBay, they want to really keep the platform as safe as possible for buyers. So they don't want buyers to get scammed or ripped off, or even to think that they are. And the best way for them to do that is to know exactly who you are. So if they have any suspicion that for whatever reason, and sometimes these things are completely outside of your control, if they ever think that you are not who you say you are, they will sometimes suspend your account, ask for that verifying information or documents. You have to send that to them. And if they do, then there's a good chance you'll get your account back. Okay, so Car says, for Facebook Marketplace, can I pay through my business bank account, business credit card, even though Facebook is personal? I have an LLC and need all my sales should be that way. This is unfortunately a complicated subject, Sokar, that I don't have a good answer to. The last thing I want to do is give you guys wrong advice, and to just because I'm trying to make it seem like I'm an expert on completely everything when it comes to dropshipping, because it's not the case. And a lot of this more like accounting stuff, not accounting, tax advice stuff is just, I don't always know the answer. One of the unfortunate things about Facebook Marketplace is that if you're selling directly onto Facebook Marketplace, like not through shops, you can only sell as an individual and not as a business. If you use Facebook shops, you can do that as a business. But if you sell as an individual through Facebook Marketplace, that's the only option you have. You can't enter in like your EIN number for your business or anything. So that's unfortunate, because a lot of us like to run our businesses under our LLCs or under our business, and you can't do that with Facebook Marketplace. So the question is, even though you're technically doing it under your own name, should you run it under your business anyway, sort of, by using your business bank account and business credit cards? That's something you might want to talk to someone about. That's what I did. I'm not confident that's the right thing to do, but that's what I did, because I consider that part of my business, and kind of my name in that case was like a DBA. So one thing you could look into, again, this is not legal or financial advice. You could file a DBA for your LLC, which is a doing business as. Every state has a different procedure for doing that, but it's usually pretty cheap and straightforward to do. You file one for the name of your LLC, DBA, your name, for instance. Some states might not allow you to do that. You got to do some research on that. But that might be a way around that, but you want to speak to someone about that. All right. Carlos says, do you recommend using the same photos as the ones your supplier has on their listings, or should you use different photos like the photos from the customer reviews? Good question, Carlos. So when you are looking at items on your supplier's website, let's use Amazon. I don't really use Amazon, but as a supplier anymore, but most people are familiar with it, and most people are familiar with the review section. So on Amazon, you're looking at an item. You'll see at the top there are photos of the item. Those are taken by the seller or by the manufacturer. But down at the bottom are review images that are taken by buyers. So one trick is to not only use the images at the top, which are the ones supplied by the manufacturer, but also to use some of the review images. And the reason for that is because that adds new photos to your listing that most people are not going to have in their listings. And studies have shown that the more photos you have on a listing, the more likely it is that someone will purchase that item from you. So use the main images. Where do you get more? Use the review images as well. I've done this, but I've never used a review image as my main image because they're usually not that good. I just use them to supplement the images that I do have inside the listing itself. John Doe says, is dropshipping against Facebook's terms of service? No, it's not. So as of the last time I looked at it, I read through all their terms of service, and did searches in there. I didn't see anything that even hinted that dropshipping was against their terms of service. So I have no issues doing it, and in any capacity. And as for the IP issues with taking other people's photos, Again, this is something you want to do your own research on, but what my research has shown is that most of the stock images, not all of them, but most of them are taken by not the store owner, so not like by Amazon, but by the manufacturer or usually by the manufacturer or a supplier. And a lot of them will let you freely use those images because they want you to sell the item. So they just let anyone use it. Now, that's not true for every brand. Not every brand will just wants you to use those photos, and they do have the right to limit that. The main thing you have to look out for is on eBay. They have something called the Vero program, VERO. Any brands in that Vero program don't want you using their stock images and stock descriptions. You can sell those items, but you can't sell them using those stock images and stock descriptions. All right, Mike D says, how do you feel about having only one virtual assistant run all aspects of a single eBay account? Mike, that is the way to do it. So VA means virtual assistant. These are individuals that you hire usually from other countries. Virtual assistant actually means anyone who works for you remotely, basically. That's not totally true. But the way we talk about virtual assistants, let's just do that. The way we talk about VAs, virtual assistants, is these are individuals that we hire from other countries. Usually the only place I hire from now is the Philippines. We hire them from the Philippines, and they run parts of my business that are totally online. So they have computers in the Philippines, they have internet connection, and so they are able to do everything that I'm able to do online. So they can run my eBay store, run my Facebook store, help me with my YouTube channel, help me answer emails. Real estate brokers use them to create listings. All sorts of things you can do with virtual assistants. As long as the task can be done online, they can do it because they have a laptop and an internet connection. And the great thing about hiring from the Philippines as opposed to hiring someone from here in the United States is that the cost is lower because the wages are lower, and a livable wage is lower in the Philippines than here in the United States. Plus, when you hire someone in the United States, there are all sorts of fees and taxes that you have to pay, and basically hoops you have to jump through. It's kind of, I don't know if I should use the word sad, but like I feel like the United States government should want us to hire people in the United States, but they make it difficult and expensive to do that. So it's not just that we have to pay Americans higher wages, it's also that there are all these other fees and taxes involved with it, which for small business, that just doesn't make sense, especially a new business. So we hire from these other countries for those reasons. So VAs are what we call them. So there's multiple ways you can utilize virtual assistants. Originally, I had like so many virtual assistants working on just one eBay store. I had like 2 doing customer service, 2 placing orders, 2 fulfilling, adding new items. And it was such a nightmare to manage. I felt like I was doing it right because I had all these VAs running it, but I was just like making sure everyone was doing everything right. And I thought that's the smart way to do it. In case one gets sick, then the other one would cover them. But it's just not the way to do it, in my opinion. I think the better route is exactly what Mike said, have one virtual assistant, because they're going to handle every aspect of the business, which is not challenging. You're going to figure out how to do it. You're going to run your entire eBay account. So why can't you train a virtual assistant to do the exact same thing and basically replace you? Obviously, you hire them and you have them start with one task, and then you add more tasks and add more tasks, so they build it up. But then once they're doing everything, the benefit is that nothing gets lost, nothing gets miscommunicated because they are in charge of everything. So for instance, I used to have problems where a customer would send a message saying, hey, I want to cancel this order. But before the virtual assistant who does customer service could communicate with the virtual assistants that place orders, they already placed the order. So then we had to contact the supplier to cancel the order. But if there's only one VA doing all of that, they would know that and they would be on top of all that. So that's why I like one virtual assistant to run everything. Yes, if they're out, if they're sick, if they need time off, you have to cover for them. But that's just life. I think it's worked out better for me that way. Is there any risk to keep doing the AutoDS non-API semi-automation lister as AutoDS currently lists? No, I don't think there's any risk to doing that as long as it's working for you. What would you say to a teenager who wants to start eBay dropshipping? Do it. You have to know though that one, you can't start dropshipping on eBay without your parents' help, because you're not allowed to have an eBay account until you're 18 technically. So you'll have to set it up under their name and run it under their name, under them. But do it. I mean, there's very, very low risk to getting started with something like eBay dropshipping. You can explain it to them, show them videos. But yeah, it's awesome that you want to get involved with a side hustle so early, and really just understand that you got to be patient. Okay, there are so many things. You're so young, so there's so much of life you still have to go. It's okay if you fail. It's okay if you're not successful. I certainly wasn't for a long time, but then I hit on something that worked. So that's how you're gonna kind of have to approach things. You gotta be really patient with it. George says that his AutoDS has hit the limit for products. Should I upgrade or delete the items that haven't sold? Yeah, so when you're subscribed to a lister and repricer like AutoDS, one of the things you're going to see is that they charge you based on how many items they're monitoring. So the more items that you have, the more expensive it's going to be. But they do it like, okay, there's like I forget what the plans are, but let's say it's like 200 items and then like 500 items. So once you hit that cap, you have to upgrade. So it's up to you if you want to upgrade or if you want to delete items that don't sell. I always delete items from my eBay store that haven't sold in the past month or two, and then obviously delete those from AutoDS as well. But that's up to you if you want to keep those in and then just upgrade. I've definitely still had to upgrade, but that's just deleting items is just part of what I do. When I do product research, do I stay away from products that say sponsored or no? That doesn't matter. So I think what you're talking about is like, I think what you're talking about is when people pay to boost their listings, and that doesn't matter. You're welcome. Okay. Yeah, I just released a video very recently talking about this, whether eBay dropshipping still works. So look back, check out that video, and you'll see some people who are doing it really successfully still. When did I start eBay dropshipping? I started eBay dropshipping January 2017, so it's been 5 years. 18, 19, 20, 20. Yeah, 5 years since I started. That's a long time in this world. And so I have 2 eBay stores. What stores do I use for eBay dropshipping? What do you mean by stores? Do you mean like suppliers? So for eBay dropshipping, I mostly use at this point wholesale suppliers, meaning not retail stores. I still have some retail stores I use, like Walmart, like Home Depot, but not as much as I used to do. Mary wants to know how much my eBay course is. The eBay course is $297. That's linked up in the description. Comes with a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee on that. And yeah, that's the price of it. It's always available for enrollment. My Facebook course, I only open it up a couple of times a year for enrollment. Stay tuned soon for an announcement of when I will be opening it back up. But if you want to get on the wait list, the link down below for the ebook will also get you on the wait list for the course, for the Facebook course. John would like to know what software I use to automate Facebook shops. So John, I actually use a software called FBM Fox. FBM Fox, well, the cool thing about Facebook shops is that they have a data feed. And the data feed allows you can upload products and reprice them and restock them through the data feed, which is basically, it connects to a CSV file. I don't know how these things work, okay, but it's a data feed, right? And so FBM Fox, you upload products from your suppliers. Again, we're using like Walmart, Home Depot there. It's monitoring those products. It creates a link to a data feed that you then input into Facebook shops. So anytime there's a price change, a stock change, FBM Fox will update your data feed, which will then automatically update on Facebook shops. So that's so cool. I mean, this works seamlessly. This is better than, obviously much better than just using Facebook Marketplace, which doesn't have a data feed. eBay has things that used to work and don't work anymore like they're supposed to. It's just, I mean, it's such a simple thing, the data feed, and it works, so it's great. And the one that makes that is FBM Fox, which I don't know if I have them linked up in the description, but yeah. Facebook has not yet pushed my items to Marketplace. I guess you mean from Facebook shops. Is this normal? There's a message that said sometime early this year. Yeah, so like I mentioned, Facebook shops pushes the items to Facebook Marketplace, but you have to be approved for that, and there is a waiting period for it. I'm not sure what Facebook is doing here. So when I first signed up, when I first signed up for my Facebook shop, got it up and running, within a few days, I think within a week, my items were being pushed to Facebook Marketplace. So that integration was pretty immediate. Then they stopped doing it. They said, hey, we're not going to do it until early 2022 for new accounts. But why? We're not sure exactly what they're doing, but you can get approved if you keep pushing for it, and you can, I know a lot of people have been approved for it, so I'm not sure why you have not been approved for it. That should remind me of something I want to add to my Facebook course. Okay. Okay. I lost my spot. Okay, I'll start here. Sake says, what are the important things to know and learn to make your drop shipping business a success? Well, there's a lot you got to know and learn. Obviously, like how to set up a store, how to find suppliers, how to do product research, how to fulfill orders. Like that is the stuff you got to learn. But that stuff for the most part, is pretty straightforward. Like if you have a guide showing you step by step what to do, there's nothing too difficult in there. You set up a store the same way every time, okay? You set up the software the same way every time. So that's just kind of like cookie cutter. But what is important, one, is product research. That is what can really make or break a store. So many people get it wrong or get impatient, think they figured it out, and never really see success with it. You got to be patient with product research. You got to learn this skill, and it is a skill you got to learn. So, I mean, I teach my students how to do it. I show you guys a little bit on YouTube how to do it, but you actually have to go and try it and be prepared that some of the items that you find that you are convinced are going to do well are not going to do well. And that's okay. You're going to learn from that, and you're going to do better next time. But so many people don't learn from it. They just assume that it doesn't work or something. But it does work. You just have to learn how to do product research. Number one, probably most important thing. Two, since the way you asked the question, what's the most important thing for a dropshipping business, I would say is also selling on a marketplace. Okay, you do not want to be selling anymore if you're a beginner on Shopify, because Shopify is so incredibly difficult to set up a website, set up a store on there, get customers to visit that site with paid ads. It's a lot, and it's a lot of money. It definitely works, okay? And maybe if you're more advanced, I would go for it, but as a beginner, I would not do Shopify. Sell on a marketplace. There are already a ton of customers on eBay, on Amazon, on Facebook Marketplace. They're ready to buy items from you, so get on a marketplace. That one's pretty easy. And the third one, I would just say in general, patience. Patience. It's so ironic to me because most businesses take so long to be profitable. Years to become profitable. You buy a physical storefront, the upfront costs are usually so high, it can take you so long to actually start to make a profit. With dropshipping, your overhead is super low. So you can start making a profit the first week you get started. But that's why I don't understand why people get so impatient with it and they say, I only made $10 this week. Yeah, but most businesses are thousands of dollars in debt their first week, tens of thousands of dollars. So be patient with it because that $10, your first week, maybe your first month even, over time, that's going to grow and it's going to grow and it's going to grow exponentially and you can make a lot more. So you got to be patient with it. What do you think will make me more profit per month, cheap products or expensive products? They can both make you the same amount of profit every month. I've done both, and I have some things to say about this. So when I first started, I think I was pretty middle of the range priced. And then I started finding these, I think when I was selling from Lowe's, I sold a lot of really cheap items, but we sold a lot of them. So we made a lot of money doing that. And that worked, but it was a huge pain, massive pain, because more sales mean more potential problems, more potential customers not getting their orders, more potential returns, pain. So I found more expensive products are a lot easier to deal with because you're going to get fewer orders, but the profit per order is going to be higher. So it all kind of works out. So I think more expensive products are easier. What is the best investment? The investment in yourself is what I'll say. The cliche answer, but is so true. So if we're talking just monetary, okay, let's ignore all the investing in yourself, like waking up early, cold showers, none of that stuff. Let's just talk about finances, okay? What's the best financial investment that you can make? The best one I've ever made was starting a business. Every investment I've had, index funds, stocks, crypto, NFTs, some of them have done really well, but nothing has made a bigger return on my investment than building a business. When you build a business, it is completely different from being an employee. Your income as an employee is capped. It's capped by how much your employer is willing to pay you. As a business owner, there is no cap. You can make as much money as your business is able to make with you kind of behind the wheel of it. And there are so many tax advantages to being a business owner that will save you money. So many other incentives like being able to work whenever you want, being able to work wherever you want. And it opens up doors because I started one business that led to another, which led to another, which led to another. And I feel like I have several businesses now. They're all kind of the same. Well, they're all similar. They're all around similar stuff. But yeah, it opens up a lot of doors. So I think the best investment is building your own business without a doubt. Then you can take that money and invest it somewhere in a more traditional investment like stocks, things like that. Carlos says, what is the benefit of putting a quantity of 1 instead of 10 or 20? Is it better to put 1 when it sells and when it sells, relist it? Good question, Carlos. So depending on the marketplace and the way your account is how I'll put it, if you have a quantity of 1 and it sells, you can just put the quantity back to 1. You can do that on eBay. You can do that on Amazon. Facebook, you should be able to do it, but for some people, their accounts, they're not able to do it. If you are able to do it, do it. If you're not able to do it, then yeah, just relist the item. So that answers that kind of second part. Let's answer the first part. What is the benefit of putting a quantity of 1 instead of 10 or 20? So there are a few theories behind this. The safest thing is just to put a quantity of 1, maybe 2, but quantity of 1, because let's say you have a quantity of 20 and you sell all 20, but then your supplier's out of stock after you buy 3 of them. Now you have 17 orders that you might have to cancel. That's not good, especially if you're a beginner. So that's a really good reason to keep your quantity low. Another reason, the kind of theory behind this, is that it creates scarcity. If a potential buyer sees you only have 1, they're like, oh, I need to buy that now before someone else buys it. Where if you have 20, they say, oh, okay, I can wait. And then they never buy it. So that's kind of the theory behind that. But there's also good reasons to have multiple quantities. Every website has multiple quantities, right? You buy on Walmart, you buy on Target, you buy on Amazon. They don't just say, oh, we only have 1 in stock. Amazon will do that if it's actually true, but they don't kind of create this fake scarcity. They realize they don't need to. So maybe we don't need to either. And the other thing is that people might buy more than 1. So if it's an item that people might purchase multiples of. So think of side tables next to a bed. People don't just a lot of times want 1, they want 2 that match each other. So they'll buy from you if you have multiple quantity and someone else only has 1. I used to sell boxes of nails a lot from Lowe's, and people would buy multiple quantities of those. If I had 5 listed, people would buy all 5 at once, for instance. Jamie wants to know what I think about Forex. So Forex is foreign exchange market. So that's, I don't know much about it, but from what I understand, it's where you're gonna buy like a foreign currency and then sell it and then buy another one. Sell that and buy another one. So you're taking advantage of kind of the ups and downs of different that's what I'm looking for, currencies and their prices compared to the US dollar. Obviously, I don't know much about it, but I do have some friends that are doing it and making a ton of money doing it. But it's just not something I've decided to do. I'm mostly interested in building long-term investments that are pretty much set it and forget it. So most of my investments go into index funds, and then I have like 5%, even less than 5%, but I'm building up to 5% in riskier investments, which is primarily cryptocurrency. I have some that I'm just holding, and then some altcoins that I'm kind of taking a risk with, and then NFTs as well. But that's pretty much it. Can I do eBay dropshipping without credit cards? You can, but it's better to have credit cards. So when you make a sale on eBay, you don't get paid right away. That money is held by eBay for a period of time, but you still have to fulfill the order. So to fulfill the order in the meantime, especially if you're a new seller, they're going to hold it for longer. So you use the credit card to fulfill the order, and then when the money's released to you, you can use that to pay off the credit card and keep the rest as profit. So a credit card helps, especially if you have a cashback or a points credit card. But if you don't have one, you could still work with it, but you'll need a debit card and enough money in your bank account to kind of cover those purchases until you get the credit card. All right. Yes, still have Facebook dropshipping. And I'll be talking a lot more about that in the next few weeks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by that question. So Bob wants to know why I'm not living in the van anymore. Update on your living situation. Yeah, so this actually, let's see how long ago that was. October, November, December, January, about 5 months ago. It's been 5 months since we left the van. So for those of you who don't know, I used to travel around in a van full time. Did that for 2 years. Exploring the country. I love traveling. So, I started these online businesses making money online, and that allowed me to quit my job I left New York, where I was, and moved down to Florida. And I was happy there, but I was like, you know what? I just want to travel. So we got a van, moved into it, and just started traveling around in vans for 2 years. And that was a ton of fun. We saw so much of the country. Even during the pandemic, we still were able to see a lot. But it's a small space for two people to live in. And it got to be too much, you know, especially because I love not only doing drop shipping, which I can easily do from my laptop, but I also love making YouTube videos for you guys. And doing that in an extremely small space was very, very difficult. Even concentrating all the time while just traveling was difficult. So it's nice to have a home base, a home office. I'm very productive. I think I'm making some great new content for you guys and just a little bit more space, which is nice. Still have the van, still going to do a lot of traveling, but it's nice to have a home base. Please smash the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. How to find wholesale suppliers. There's a few different ways that I teach my students, but one of the easiest ways is just to go to a website called inventorysource.com. It's free to sign up, and they have a whole list of wholesale suppliers. So just go ahead and start there. Not all of them will do drop shipping, but a lot of them will. All right. All right. Christian says, hey, from Croatia, is there something in the algorithm? Wait, I just lost it. Where'd it go? Okay. Is there something in the algorithm that says you have to list the same number of products every single day? No, there's not. Sorry. That. There's nothing about that I know of. In general, what we have found is that it's better to list consistently. But consistently doesn't mean that you have to list the same number of products, exact same every single day. It just means more in general that, you know, they want to see activity on your account. And then again, this is just a guess. We don't really know what goes behind eBay's algorithm, but we found that if we're consistent with listing, you know, list products every single week, then that helps it quite a bit. All right, let me get this back. Too many things are going on. I think when the person asked what eBay store you use, they were probably referring to what store subscription. Oh, so I have a premium subscription. Yeah, there's different. When you sign up for eBay, it's free, but you're on a free plan. And then there are store subscriptions that you can sign up for that give you benefits like additional free listings. And then I think the premium store is like $60 a month for that one. And I forget exactly how much the other ones are because they've changed them. But that's one that I used, $60 a month. Yeah, but with that, you'll get more free listings. So that's the primary benefit of them. And the final value fee can also go down a little bit. How many tools do I need to get started with drop shipping? Technically, you don't need very many. The only one I would really recommend is a good repricer and restocker, restocking software or something that keeps track of that. And that's what we use AutoDS for. So that's really all I think you need. Something like Zeek Analytics for product research will really, really help, but it's not necessary at first. Oh yeah. Good segue. Is there any software that can help us do product research to let us know which brands and products we should not be listing on Facebook? Yeah, Zeek Analytics. Zeek Analytics will help you do product research. It really just spits out data saying, hey, these items are popular right now. Hey, these ones aren't. Or it will tell you, hey, this is a popular product, but this is one of those Vero items that you should not be selling on Facebook. They'll give you a little bit of a red flag about that. So that's a really good indication that you shouldn't be selling it. What is better to get, Omar wants to know, what is better to get started with when you have some experience in capital, eBay or shops? So Shops is a little bit difficult to start. There's many steps involved. I would do both. And that way, if Shops doesn't work out for you, you can't get it set up or it takes a long time, at least you're doing something else, right? And I think it's great to have multiple streams of income. So I would do both. If I had to choose one, I would just do Shops. But I don't think there's any harm in doing both. Yeah, I think that's a better way of putting it. DJ Max Official saying, setting up a Shopify store is easy, but making the traffic is a pain. Yeah, I would agree with that, especially because you can hire someone on Fiverr to set up a Shopify store for you for pretty cheap. And there's themes that make it pretty easy as well. So you're right. The setup is not difficult. But for some people, it might be, right? Some people, it might be. But the traffic is a huge pain. Paying for YouTube, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Instagram influencers, whatever, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's a lot of work. Most people don't ever make money doing it. Which has more sales velocity? Omar wants to know. Is it eBay, wholesale, or retail? I feel like I'm crooked. What's going on with this chair? Doesn't my chair look crooked, right? It's like this side is, no, this side's higher. Maybe it's a camera. Anyway. Yeah, so retail definitely has more sales velocity, meaning you'll sell more retail items, but wholesale has the higher margins. So yeah, so there's different ways of looking at it, but also part of the reason for that is because it's easier to add retail items, so you can have a whole lot of retail items in your store, and it takes longer to find good wholesale suppliers and good products with them and get those products added. So that's part of the reason as well. Oh, super chat. Carlos, thanks so much, man. Saying, just wanted to buy you a coffee and thank you for answering all my questions. Carlos, that's awesome. I really appreciate that, man. I will definitely use that. I might use that, honestly, to buy a game for the Oculus instead of some coffee, but I don't think you'll mind. And I appreciate you, man. And I think that's a good place to end for the week. We'll end on a high note, thanks to Carlos. So thanks to everyone for hanging out and for all the great questions. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Again, we do these every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to hang out, if you want to come with your questions, make sure to come, get here early, get in the live chat and ask your questions. We didn't get to all of them, which is pretty usual. So best thing to do is to get here early so you can ask your questions. So it's right at the top and increases the chances I'll see it and be able to answer it for you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.